Hello everybody, welcome to a very special video. You can already tell I'm using shaders for this one. As of November 30th, FusioCraft has officially turned an entire year old, so I've decided to celebrate by giving a little tour around the whole world. What we've built, I mean, I'm not going to the far lands, that's insane. So here, right off the bat, is Spawn, and obviously it didn't used to look like this, it's kind of grown. It went from just an enchantment table and some cow pens to all of this. Over here, we've got the Fusio machine, which generates a ton of lightning. Go watch the video, it's funny. And we got a pretty good view of Spawn from over here. Just a lot of random buildings around there. This big wooden platform I built for the area where you actually spawn in. And then we have this glorious tree going over the portal. When you go down the path, you've got the Fusio board where people write whatever. We've got the map room down here where we've been mapping out the world. So here we are at Spawn Meadow, and a lot of development has happened all around it. A lot of stuff built around what we've named the Blarney Sea, including Mike's area, my area, E-Zone. And then towards the cold side, we've got the Brownie Empire. It's not on there, but there's Clown Town, there's Julian's little hermit house. These two buildings are modeled after actual buildings where we had meetups in real life. This is the Airbnb that we stayed in at Chicago, and I really tried to faithfully recreate this, way more on the inside than on the outside. This kitchen feels the most accurate to its real-life counterpart, and I love coming in here to just reminisce in the memories. To its right is the Hyatt hotel room that we stayed in Atlanta, and it's a Hyatt hotel room. They're basically all the same. This one looks a little weird in Minecraft, but if you look at the photos of the actual room, then it all makes sense. We got a few more boards here for missions, to-do list stuff, and then we've got these two terrifying Babber statues looming over, always watching. Here's our overpowered iron trading hall. We go down here, and we've got a bunch of villagers that trade iron for emeralds. So this is where we get like all of our emeralds. And we get a lot of iron, like too much, way too much. It just keeps going. This is all iron blocks. While I was building up this spawn area more, I wanted to put a park here, and at the time Tinfoil Chef passed away, so I've dedicated this park to him. Here's the main hub of a trading card game that Kyle, Ohio has been putting together. It's not done yet, and we haven't played it yet, but who knows? One day. I don't know, it's been a year, maybe not. This is our Mason Trading Hall, a convenient trading hall right across from the Iron Trading Hall, where we can use all the emeralds that we grind out to exchange for quartz and bricks and terracotta, all kinds of things. To the west of the spawn meadow lies the Max Tower. Based on something from the Lord of the Rings, I still haven't seen them, don't kill me. When I do eventually watch Lord of the Rings, I'm gonna be like, hey look, it's Max Tower! Over here, we have the Brownie Empire. This is Irvin and Kyle, Ohio's base. There's two Kyles, in case you're wondering why I'm calling him Kyle, Ohio. The other Kyle is Kyle Catchphrase. And it's a cool stronghold feeling base. This is my favorite room back here. Very cool base, built into the mountain. Very modular because of that. It's got a cool looking enchantment room. Yeah, here it is. This place is awesome. It utilizes the glass fog effect, although it looks a bit funny with shaders on. And down here, in the valley west of Spawn, we have Clown Town. Famous for its big open source farm, very overpowered in the early game. Same with its animal pens, whatever's going on with these signs. And we kept on getting those skeleton horse rider dudes that are supposed to be rare. Lots of little starter bases in this area. There's the Twizzler tree. Unfortunately, I can't credit a lot of these houses because I'm not really sure who built what. This one is Sunset though, I do know that. And no, that's not just because of the sign. Right here. Susnet. Hee hee. Just up the hill is Fusio himself. I'm not sure what's going on with this. Is this bleachers? I've never seen that before. He's got his water tower. He's got his single wide. This is the greatest house in the entire server. I mean, it has to be. It is called FusioCraft after all. This is a certified Fusio moment. If we venture off into the snowy wilderness, we will come across Julian's treehouse. It's good timing to show up right now because it's snowing. Yeah, it's cozy, comfy up here. And this one's pretty modular too, because there's like several rooms on several different trees. I should probably mention that all these imposter banners everywhere is just from me hiding imposters in everyone's bases. I did that back in January and some of them are still around. Heading back over to where spawn is, we've got Remnant Village, the village that we spawned right next to. And this is the glorious little path down to it with the warped wood. Who up playing with they worm? That giant lava waterfall was turned into a lava generator if we go down here. Yeah, this was a new feature when the server started, so that was exciting. And we go up these funny parkour ladders, and this is Person Meetup's house built into the mountain here. This place looks cool with the shaders because of all the end rods. There's some cool stuff in here. A bunch of maps all over here of a lot of villages around the world. An ominous lectern room that I kinda didn't even realize existed. What is going on in there? We go up here and there should be a room around here that had a bunch of books documenting things. Yes, in here. Okay, so these are just like the normal books. Foreign literature. Cherry Sherry, Canadian health. Okay, seriously, what is going on here? I don't even think I've read this before. Okay, now I know everything there is to know about Canadians. When they announced chiseled bookshelves, that was the first place I thought of. Chiseled bookshelves would be excellent for that room. This is the Sky Elevator. It was originally made for the achievements that involve trading at the top, jumping from the top of the world to the bottom of the world. Nowadays, it's kinda just used to get around easier when you have an elytra. This thing saves on rockets, and I'm gonna use it to get to our next stop, Sesame Street. I've made a path from that spawn meadow area. It goes through this village, and it goes up this mountain, and it continues on towards my base. But first, we're gonna go over here to Sesame Street, Mike's big city that he's been building up for a whole year now. We gotta give it the proper introduction and land right here at this big Bert and Ernie entryway. Not sure what that villager did to piss everyone off, but I guess that's how you're punished here. The back of the sign says, "Bye bye, friend." And there's all kinds of little shops and things in this town. Big buildings, little skinny buildings, buildings from pop culture like the Sanctum Sanctorum. This one's from a K-pop music video. This one as well. A lot of these are also original creations as well. This is like the cookie cafe named after its floor pattern. Here on Freak Street, this is the arcade that I made. We got the token machine, several normal arcade games, a claw machine, Dance Dance Revolution, and the prize counter. Down here next to the endless tunnel, we've got Charlie's Chalky Corner, the place to be if you're a Choco guy like me. Just kidding. We fucking hate chocolate. As of right now, a lot of these buildings are still facades, such as this big beastly one, the Muppet Theater. We got a clothing store with sheep torture underneath, we got a library, we've got a big apartment complex, which I've built up my own little apartment in here. Should be right here. Ah yes, 305, that's me. This is my apartment. My home away from home. Here's my little kitchen. This is my big old bed and TV. Little chill area to read, listen to music and everything. Let me rewind back to the sanctum because there's someone very special in here. There he is, it's Wong! Wong is one of the first villagers around here that we just let roam free, and yeah, we fell in love with him. Wong has been quite a silly character on FusioCraft over the months, and here is his bedroom, decked out with all kinds of mystical treasures and Mike Ehrmantraut. I don't know what happened down here. I guess Wong went on a little genocidal rampage or something? We got a ramen shop with a color scheme that I absolutely adore. A bunch of other different colorful buildings around here. Your local KFC, and it actually generates chickens in there. Here's Saul Seek selling a bunch of music that he acquired legally, of course. That didn't age well. They're totally not pirated or anything like that. Over here, we've got the Central Park in the middle of town. A very comfy little spot where Bob himself of Bob's Burgers has a burger truck. I originally built this in my area, but I didn't really feel like it fit, so I moved it over here. Gordon's Milk Bar, one of the most iconic spots in town. Here's Gordon. He loves to stare at his NFT all day. He spent his life savings on that thing, so yeah, he's a little obsessed with it. And back here, brace yourselves, we've got Gordon's Creature, and he milks this thing so much. Next door, we've got the Count's Corner, and inside here, we've got the world famous Rodney Copperbottom from the hit movie Robots. I don't know why. Don't ask, cause I don't know. And this is the iconic 123 Sesame Street where it all began. This was the first building built here, as you could probably guess, and everything else expanded outwards from it. Then we got Hooper's Restaurant, the second building here. We got Oscar the Grouch here, welcoming you right on in. He's probably not. And this is where Mike lives, and he's got a few maps up on the walls, kind of documenting progress. My heads are just everywhere, huh? A silly little roof garden. In this little alleyway, we go up this staircase here. There's a really cool building in here, yeah. This building has a really cool little interior. And if we go past the storage shed, we've got a backyard where we bred up a ton of turtles in the past. Some of those turtles are still around. There's like a million of them. Here we have the Bert and Ernie houses. Yes, this is the real Bert and Ernie. We turn them into houses. It's horrifying. They are in sheer agony. But anyways, this is the trans turtle destination. You know, just like the one that Ween sang about. And this is where the turtles are being bred up now. This building back here used to be where the portal was, but it was moved to the Sanctum Sanctorum, because obviously that makes a lot of sense. And the rest of this little alleyway area is under construction as of right now, December 2022. And if we leave town and go up this beach east, we start to enter my area. Here we have the beach that I custom terraformed near the beginning of the server's life. It was a lot of digging for the early days, but I was committed. A lot of cool custom texturing along the rocky faces and the more gray sands of this beach, because I'm trying to go for a more Northern California coastal theme, and gray sands are pretty common on all those beaches. We got a lot of beach towels and umbrellas and everything to just flavor this place up even more. And over there, we got my house, the old fishing shack that I kind of got inspired by from the Lego set. And I've got a working lighthouse out the back of it. As we head over there, we head up this wooden staircase and we go up this little path over this hill. And little may you realize that right underneath this hill is the one and only world famous Dom house. It's mostly hallway in here, but we've got a big window that looks out onto the ocean. I gave Dom some banners of some of his favorite albums. My head is really everywhere. Down here in the basement is where Nebula lives. There's a cool enchantment table room down here, and a room that is like underneath the water. It looks kind of weird with the shaders. There it is. You can kind of see it under the water over there. So this is the beach in front of my house. We got an old rundown shed here acting as my nether portal. This is that path that I talked about that goes all the way back to spawn. And if we follow it down, we reach this giant sequoia tree that you can actually go inside of. I built this as a really cool entryway into my area if you decide to choose this path as your entry point. And when you enter the tree, you get that sightline of the lighthouse right there. Along this path over here, next to this campfire with a funny little hermit crab, is the old abandoned calcite mine that I have since turned into my storage system. This is where I keep all my stuff. There's a lot of mud down here. There's a waterfall, moss growing up the walls. There's ponds, a bunch of calcite stalagmites and stalactites, Enderman griefing, apparently. And this is where I keep all my stuff. If I need to use any utility blocks, I can just flick this lever and boom, there they are. Spreading it all out along this line isn't the most efficient, but the soul speed does help. Going over to the house itself, well, first of all, we got Dom Bed, which has been there for over a year now. This thing has been here since like one of the very first days of the server. Some more custom texturing along the side of the beach here with some tide pools, an anchor hanging out front, a bunch of seaweed and barrels. If we continue along the outside docks here, we've got kind of an outside section of hallway here, and it spits you out the back where there's another dock leading you out there into the water. And we've got the base of the lighthouse here, very rocky and mossy. So if we go on inside here and avoid that trident dude, we got some barrels full of aquatic items for sale. This is where I do a lot of my smelting. This is where I do my enchanting. This used to be the storage room. I haven't really redecorated it since I moved it out to that cave. Here's a big zoomed in map of my entire area so far. Over here is where I do some brewing. A lot of random miscellaneous storage here because I've made a ton of banners and they all need to go somewhere so I can copy them if I ever need more. Here's the guest bedroom, very purple pink theme. Up here on the third floor, here's more of those album banners. This is where I make them all. We got a comfy little bed here with all my favorite cats. This is like the library room of the lighthouse, and it's got my to-do list in here. The fourth floor of the lighthouse has this other guest bedroom with a very red theme. The fifth floor is still vacant. There's nothing in here yet. But we go up top here, we can see that redstone right up close. I mean, I guess you can't actually see it, it's on the inside. But from up here, we can see a custom tree, which I really need to start making more of. The windswept cypress that I wish to put all over this area. And a nice custom path all the way to the town that I've created, Calcite Cove. If we fly on down here, you can see a lot of the custom redwood forest stuff is right here along the path, really taking advantage of the mangrove wood. More tide pool terraforming down here at the water. Here's the sign, welcome you into town. Here's Charlie's Cookie Corner, the place to be if you're a cookie guy like me. This is where I get my chocolate from, and this is where I get my golden carrots from. We got the antique store, which as of right now kind of just houses a bunch of random miscellaneous things, like a fake wither that I played a prank on people with. I put my Halloween decorations in here. We got the visitor center, which is a really cool building because it's got a huge map of the area that you can walk on top of. An exhibit kind of talking about the lore behind all the calcite around the town. And up top on the second floor is a little mini diorama of the town. As of right now, it's a little bit outdated, but it kind of shows you the town in a much smaller form. Next door is the Geology Museum, which houses every single ore and ore-related block in the entire game as of right now. Every stone and deep slate variant, every raw block, every pure block, yes, even netherite, and the deep slate emerald ore, the rarest block in the entire game. Here we have a little geology lab of sorts. Out here we've got an excavation area where they're kind of excavating some of the calcite. On the second floor, we've got a bunch of exhibits of all the different rocks in the game. Even the fantasy rocks like netherrack, endstone, glowstone, all with their own custom shaped and custom themed little exhibits. And we got two geodes, one of them built into the ceiling here, and one that you saw out front that you can actually climb up into. And you get a cool view of town from up here. Down here we've got a little burger shop. Making use of the head plugin we have, I just changed my skin to one with a burger head and just killed myself a bunch of times. Here we've got an old fort building that is currently being used to breed villagers. A clothing store that is kind of just being used to house a bunch of the hermit heads that we get from that head plugin. The record store, which houses all kinds of different album cover banners that I've been making over the last year. This is one of my favorite spots on the entire server. It also has a bunch of the music discs in the game in these barrels. Then we've got Alley. We are using the alleys as decor here. We got a popcorn stand, some trash cans, a little fish and chip shop, a little flower shop, a head gift shop of sorts, Cafe de la Bella, which is still under construction. It's very comfy in here. I really like the color scheme. Down here we've got the back entrance of the Funny Pub with some server members' heads up here on the wall. This is where I was breeding the allays, and this dude is the bouncer, and it spits you back out here, the front entrance. Down here we've got Calcite Cove's arcade, similar to the one in Sesame Street, only this one is not finished still. Here we've got a working movie theater, and when I say working, it's because I got some redstone that activates a piston feed tape that constantly shuffles this wool around. If I simply destroy this block and place it back, then it starts up, and we've got a working movie. It's pretty pixelated. Ancient technology, but we got like a beach scene here. Also the projector in the back actually flickering. Pretty cool. Across the street, we've got the apartment complex with a pool in the back and a lot of different units, a log cabin house, several houses that were inspired by Sea Ranch. Not too much going on in those interiors quite yet. A comfy little gazebo that looks out on the water. A house that my family stayed in when we vacationed in Cayucas. Once again, it was made to be accurate on the inside as well. A little plaza with a fancy little statue here and a boat workshop here where boats are being built. A bunch of little knickknacks and treasures up here on the second floor. This boat under construction being hoisted up there. Out here on the pier we have a little fishing shack and this dude sells some bait. This is Mr. Grouper, by the way. He used to work over here at Grouper's. This is the Calcite Cove version of Hooper's restaurant, and Mr. Grouper kind of got bought out by this dude. He doesn't even own his own restaurant anymore. A bit of a shame. And here we got the Shove It In, which has a lot of different rooms in here, all with their own custom carpets and everything. And its most exclusive room is actually the top floor of Groupers. And it wraps around here and it gives you a pretty cool view of the Central Park and the mountain that looms over town. Here we have Captain Shimmy's Bargains, the little general store that actually sells things. This is where I sell the stuff that I just have too much of or that I have farms for. There's Captain Shimmy himself. And we've got a second floor here with even more inventory space. And every good store needs an ATM. And then we've got the library, which is a giant librarian trading hub with like every useful book trade that you can think of. The Central Park is the heart of the town, and it's got the crab statue, which also doubles as the nether portal. And there's all kinds of little details here and there, like this stack of Ezo berries, for example. Speaking of my good friend Ezo, he was originally going to build up on this island over here, but he has since invited me to build on it, and so I'm turning it into like a treasure island with a bunch of old ruins of some old fort and some pirates buried their treasure here long ago. We got some custom trees going on in here. Somehow a wolf ended up here, which I'm not sure how that happened. Here's the old fort. We go in here and it's super in decay. Everything is falling apart. There's frogs in the walls. There's moss growing everywhere, and eventually when I return to this project, I want to make a dungeon underneath right here. But as of right now, it's just an old ruined fort here on this little island. As we enter the outskirts of Calcet Cove, we've got two big things. A big custom redwood forest back here with a meandering path that wanders throughout its length. One that leads you to this farm area where I actually get a bunch of my crops from. One that coats the hills in wheat and the fields with cows. And it's also got this nice little barn here with actually important animals in here. We've got like horse stables. We've got the funny Jeb sheep. But that second major thing on the outskirts of Calcet Cove is a little place I like to call Barrel Eye Bay. This is kind of like Calcet Cove's industrial district, and a lot of farms and factories are out here. The first building is just a chill little place where you can rent some diving equipment, look at some freaky glow squids. This container looks really cool with shaders on. Downstairs, we've got a restaurant/bar where this shady dude, Gary Smellington, will serve you some drinks. We got a really old shack from before all the industrial stuff popped up here, which is kind of my home away from home. It houses my favorite interior that I've ever done, just a very dense and cluttered wooden mess that kind of feels scrapped together. We go up to the top floor, and we've got a really ramshackle roof up here. We got the storage area, my bed, and a really cool window that I like looking out of. In the basement area, which we can access from the back of the building, we've got the ultimate smelting setup. Specifically for ore though, this is where I go to generate a ton of copper blocks. Next door, across from this old falling apart dock, we got this kelp factory, and this place isn't just for show, it actually generates kelp in here. We got a lot of dried kelp coming in, and the way that it gets smelted is from chutes, the building next to it that generates bamboo. Inside here you can tell everything is being dimly lit, not just the outside, and this is where we grow all the bamboo. We got a truck backing in here making some deliveries. We got a Wi-Fi tower on top of this building. The portal for Barrel Eye Bay is in a statue of a giant fish hook. And this big factory specializes in growing giant mushrooms. Inside of here is where I grow all of the big mushrooms in the game, the ones from the overworld and from the nether. And out here on these big stony docks, we've got giant cranes lifting in cargo. We've got the start of a container area. There's going to be way more containers toppled on top of each other later. Seven Eyes, the brassy deep sea submarine. It's probably really hard to see with shaders, but we've got an actual abyss down here that I've been digging out for a while, and it goes pretty deep. And across the way from the abyss is the haunted Fusio that drowned long ago. It looks really cool up on the surface from the water, especially with shaders. That's awesome. Across the water here, we have everyone's favorite location from the SpongeBob movie, Shell City, full with an actual interior, and there they are, there's SpongeBob and Patrick. They truly are done for. They've been like that for months. I don't think they're getting revived. And then we got a nice little pathway here that leads you back to the main road and the gas station station. This gas station on the outskirts is the last thing I built in my area until you just go out to the FNAF land area. On this side of the road, we've got the giant warehouse where I store all my bulk storage of things I have way too much of, like dirt and stone. Still needs a good interior. This is another factory that is still a work in progress. Right now, all it's got is a little mud maker and 2 dudes ready to be employed. And then in here, the first building that Barrel Eye Bay ever received is the Greens factory, where I produce all kinds of organic things like moss, sugarcane, cactus, glow lichen back there, ferns, and any of the tall flowers. If I turn on the moss machine, I can demonstrate its power, and we can climb up here to this iron scaffolding up here, and we see just how much moss gets created. Not my design, by the way. I pretty much designed none of these farms. I'm not a good redstoner. This one's all etho, but this is my favorite machine that I've built in Barrel Eye Bay because I've been using the moss to custom terraform an entire mountain, and that is my current project right now. To get a proper scale of this thing, let's fly up here and look. Yeah, we got big sharp peaks, we've got a little camping area, a ton of trees already, a path that winds all the way up here. Some comfy little cabins, a campfire. You can see that this path starts right here at the end of the road. And the shaping is not done either. I'm still working on the back here. But as of right now, that does it for my area. And we've got this road that's starting to happen here that kind of connects my area to the FNAF land area. It's not done yet. I still need to put in the bridges for it. But we go over here, and this is where Zach and Addison have been building the actual FNAF 1 map. They flattened out a massive area out here with the plans to build all of the FNAF games. So far, they're still on the first one, and they're almost done with it, I'd say. Most of the blocks are in place. At this point, as soon as they finish that, it's just the finer detailing, like this office here. And they got their own starter area over here with all the basic farms. This is a big flattened out area as well. And this place was built on top of the stronghold that we used to get to the end. Meanwhile, Zach has built some other places if I can find them. One of them actually, unfortunately, got deleted accidentally. It was Squidward's house, and it was amazing. Rest in peace, Squidward. But here we have his jungle house, which really reminds me of the Donkey Kong cartoon. Just a bunch of cool tree houses built up here with these jungle trees. And last but not least, unless there's another big base that I'm completely blanking on right now, we've got E-Zone. This is where Ezo moved to after he decided not to build on Ezo Island, and although there's not much built here yet, he's been doing a lot of deforestation and gearing up. I mean, he already wins the award for the funniest base. Like, bro, he made Iskal's real human balls fall off. The names of these chests always make me laugh. Like, this is the litter box chest. I don't even know what Russell... What does Russell mean? Why is it just saplings? What is plopper? Oh, it's just copper. Why is there a green stacked on top of a mic? This place is cursed. In an awesome way. But anyways, I think that's it for the entire tour so far. Thank you for watching. In case you haven't been watching them already, please give FusioCraft a try. We've been having a lot of fun building up this stuff. And if you're interested in joining in on the fun, please reach out to us. We would love to have some new players on the server. This has been Qualia Quartz. Thank you for enjoying this world tour of FusioCraft after 1 whole year. Actually, there is one more thing to show you, and it's this cursed little arena of creatures right here. These guys pull all the strings around here. We do whatever they tell us to. I'm not joking. Please help us. My life is a lie.